I redesigned Elves. Not like there's anything wrong with the default elf, but I wanted to put my own spin on things. For me, the quintessential traits that make an elf are first and foremost, the ears. Those ears better be sharp enough to cut titanium with ease. I'm not giving my elves dull, weak ears. The other two big traits are their skills in magic and their immortality, or at the very least, really long lives. The idea for my redesign came to me pretty quickly. I decided to base these elves on Chinese culture. First and foremost, it saves me a bit of work. Most elves aren't really grounded in any real-world culture, and I think it's good to take on historical references. And secondly, I think Chinese culture, the clothing, the aesthetic, the vibe, fits well with what I want this redesign to be. And Chinese culture, it's just really cool. These elves are also inspired by insects, because they're some of the most alien yet beautiful creatures on the planet. And that's what I want from these elves. Additionally, silk was one of the most important commodities in ancient China, and silk, of course, came from silkworms. I thought that fit nicely. First, I did an initial pass, which had a lot of elements that I liked. The pure black eyes, the slightly armored exoskeleton around parts of the body, the digitigrade legs. But honestly, it just felt a bit too cute. It lacked sleekness. It lacked that regal presence. Around this time, I was also tempted to push them in a more animalistic direction, but it just didn't feel right. Elves usually fit into fantasy as a kind of mirror for humanity. Having them lack any human features at all just didn't sit well with me. Finally, I landed on a design with a good mixture of features that I liked. Plus, I can always make changes in the future. I imagine that these elves come in 3 varieties based on their social class, with the top tier elves having 4 arms and wings, the second tier consisting of elves with 2 arms and wings, while the lowest caste is made up of elves with 2 arms and no wings. These elves regard themselves as descendants of divine beings, and they practice strong ancestor worship. Another thing that determines your social standing in elf society is how good you are at weaving, which is a special form of magic unique to the elves, where they are able to weave special silk into different objects and forms for a variety of purposes, which I totally did not take from a very popular video game. Now, I imagine that elves dwell within vast hive cities, which are immense temple-like structures that rise high into the heavens. Most of the elven population resides within these tower complexes, each one their own little self-contained world, housing millions of inhabitants. I don't imagine that the elves have any traditionally laid out cities that you'd see in a human kingdom. Instead, nearly all elves make their homes within these monumental vertical sanctuaries that dot the horizon of their jungle homeland. I'm pretty happy with this redesign. The only thing I'm not 100% about is whether to keep the eyes completely black or to add an iris. The black eyes definitely make them feel a lot more alien and strange, but adding irises does make it easier for me to depict emotions. I'm still unsure which way to go. Comment below what you think is better. Speaking of which, if you have any suggestions on ways to improve the design, I'd love to hear it. Maybe you think I went a bit too crazy, or maybe you think I didn't go crazy enough. And if any of you have any cultural insights, that would very much be appreciated. I'm only one guy, so I'm sure there's a lot more I could have added. Anyway, thank you so much. Make sure to keep it green.